Yo!
Yayo Talk Show!
Dreamin'!
Don't give it up, Molly.
Dreamin'!
Don't give it up, Marco.
Dreamin'!
Don't give it up, Katie.
Dreamin'!
Al's name didn't fit. They talk about the show, this group of four friends been going for 1,000,000 years, there's no end. Watching every arc and saga, no sleep. It's the king of anime, 1,000 episodes deep.
Yayo Talk Show!
Talking about One Piece.
It's the name of the podcast.
We're not on Vine. Yayo Talk Show. Talking about
One Piece.
What's up, wenches, privateers, and non-binary buccaneers? Welcome aboard the most chaotic One Piece podcast on the... Wait a minute. We're in 3D? We're coming through your podcast app to touch your ears. Nah, that sounded better in my head.
I don't like that.
I don't like...
Voluntary ASMR? No thanks.
Binaural audio. Welcome to Yayo Talk Show. The legendary Chrono Pirates are back in full effect. And by full effect, I mean... We're in 3D.
It's the same.
We've already made Mark mad like 3 times today.
Dude,
I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. Let's introduce you to the crew. First, the captain of the Chrono Pirates, Molly D. Simpy.
Dude, I don't like that.
What about touching ears or
Yeah,
making me
no.
mad? Which one?
We should try to figure out how to do like a 40 situation so that it's like they can smell us as well.
40's not a grandpa, right?
No.
Yeah, okay. The wild theorist, Caden Jensen.
Dude, I also don't like that.
The Laughborg, Al McClelland.
Yeah, it's whatever. It's fine.
And I'm the internet's gentleman, Mark P. Donica. The B, of course, stands for Bonesman, and I have regrets, but we're not talking about those today. We're talking about...
The B stands for B touching your ears, I guess.
Is it you right here?
There's a B. Oh, God, there's a
There's a
B?
B?
Oh, man. If you thought there were rails, you were wrong.
You were wrong.
If you're in America, there definitely aren't any. Anywho,
Wait a minute.
Where's my high-speed
social
rail?
commentary in my One Piece podcast, it's more likely than you'd think.
It's more likely than you think.
What are we talking about
In my
today?
anarchist manual?
We're talking about so initially when we were talking about like, oh hey, we should do a movie again, I was like, oh, we should do the short one. And because like, oh, it looks kind of whatever, blah 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 blah. So we're talking about One Piece 3D Straw Hat Chase, which actually did have a US release in November when they re-released Strong World in theaters. This was the pre-show, so it was like a super long night of One Piece at the movies.
Like last November or?
Yeah, 2021.
Oh, crazy.
That's rad. And everybody knows I like short ones. So anyway.
Absolutely. Oh God,
Got him.
we stand a short king of the pirates.
Got him.
This- so we're talking about the 3D film One Piece 3D Straw Hat Chase, and so this was originally in Japan. It was released in 2011 as a double feature with Toriko 3D Gourmet Adventure, and they aired them both together. And so like I really wasn't expecting much from this, and then the hits just didn't stop.
You didn't expect much from One Piece? Oh,
No, well, okay.
Then let me give you something to listen to. It's called Yayo Talk Show. It'll introduce you to all the
It's the
great
lowest. It's the lowest One Piece content you can get. But just in the sense of like, oh, this should be fine. Like, oh, this is I didn't think it was going to be like actively bad, but I thought it was going to be fine, and I came away with the biggest smile on my face, and we ended up watching a fair amount of this together, and I wanted to know, whoever would like to start, just some baseline thoughts about this movie.
Dude, I like that.
Yeah.
As opposed to the ear thing, you like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those, I wasn't actively avoiding this. It just was not on my radar at all. And I think we've already talked about it a couple times off mic, but like getting this confused for like video game cutscenes or you know, it's like the models they use, very deceiving in terms of like just what it was exactly, but I liked it. Spoilers. You guys are very quiet, and I don't.
Spoiler.
What do
I mean,
you?
they're definitely
what-
pushing the 3D models to feel like the original show, like just breaking the rigs everywhere to where you have the full-on stretchiness / weaving through everything on screen. Like it's high energy and it's beautiful, and they did a really good job.
There's also a dog.
There's
Yeah.
also a dog.
That's
Buzz.
Very important. It's
Buzz.
very important. Buzz the dog is so amazing.
Yeah. There's
Gotta
there's
protect.
so many different elements of the One Piece movies that I want to be canon. More so than ever, I would love for Schneider and Schneider was apparently the pirate's name. I want Schneider and Buzz to be real and like canon so bad, but I imagine the devil fruits in this might make it harder in case they might need something so kind of ubiquitous and iconic as that particular type of devil fruit.
Bruh, you know damn well that he could just be like, Falcon, Thunder Cougar Falcon Bird version of the Tori Tori fruit. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. It like
Picture
legitimately
yourself
doesn't
in
matter. It's like,
Thunder
oh,
Cougar Falcon
well,
Bird.
that
It
one was
was-
just this type of eagle. It wasn't
Yeah, well,
all
no.
eagle. It was
But
just
it was-
specific this kind of eagle. This one's bald eagle. So it's
It
like,
was
oh, no.
funny though because in the beginning of the movie, he just throws out the like, yeah, he ate the tori tori no mi, and I'm like, I'm like, sir, that's like he had that fruit like that, like there's no subcategory to
Get a
that.
load
And
of that fruit.
At the very end, where Robin like said exactly what type, I was like, fucking thank you, Robin. Like Robin
Yeah,
understands
exactly.
the rules in this world.
We stand
at the
Robin
beginning,
at
you
all
saw
He had
she was
times.
reading a
bird
book.
fruit. He's eaten every bird known to man. Like he had
All of
the
them?
bird fruit. Like, sir, there are multiple types of birds.
How many birds did you eat? Spit it out.
How many
Out.
birds do you know?
Out.
Name all of them.
Name every bird.
Name
Quick,
every
go.
I need
Immediately.
study.
Coughs up a chicken nugget.
Pigeon.
All right, that's one.
Crow.
Dude, that's
one
what
kind
the,
Uh,
real talk. That should be what the devil fruit is. It's just a chicken nugget.
Oh no, because then it will taste bad and it will ruin chicken nuggets for me.
Oh no!
That's
It's
so
just
fun.
it's just a chicken nugget from insert your least favorite fast food restaurant here.
Okay.
See, you do that so you don't piss anybody off by saying you hate
Absolutely.
their favorite fast food restaurant.
So
Unless
let's a couple of things about this movie that'll probably be some jumping off points. This is technically the last movie before the time skip, and
Really?
makes
Mhm.
sense.
Huh.
yeah, this is the last one that takes place before time skip because Zed is after, right? Yeah,
I
Zed
think
is
so.
after the time skip, and this is coming from somebody who like we talked about it, and I'm still like, what was movie Zed really? But one of the coolest things about this movie is that we get to see a lot of Sunny in it. A lot of interiors, a lot of areas that have only kind of been referenced in like panels, but we actually get to see the active living space of the ship.
It's
And
true.
I absolutely love that.
We get
What-
to see
Yeah.
Robin and Nami in their both in their comfy beds.
Robin has a library.
Yeah, and then we get to see the hanging from the ceiling cardboard boxes that the boys sleep in.
You know what? They deserve it.
Like it was
Yeah.
fun. A lot of the things that I like I mean the more domestic side of One Piece that is like not necessarily gone into because it's not plot driven, right? Like they're not just going to spend a chapter on them just like vibing on the boat. Like that doesn't progress the story. But I love seeing like them all using the different channels, like the mini Mary again, like the sub. Like it was, I like this movie because it's a lot of stuff. If I were given the like ability to board something for One Piece, a lot of the stuff that I would want to emphasize is in this like little 30-minute short, which I really love. But like, yeah, seeing them like, and then like the paddle boat, it's almost like a advertisement for the Sunny of like, look at all the things
Honestly.
we can do. We have a gym, we have a library, like we have the ability, if we no wind, no problem, we have a paddle system, like and
This would be something to advertise like an in-person experience on Sunny.
Yeah, this was basically Frankie. So it's like, would you like a boat as cool as this? Please hire Frankie.
And then Frankie's getting all these like orbit shots of
it's those 360 panning shots that really send me, and like the sense of motion and movement. There's so much, and I feel like, especially because, and Mark, 2011 is when this came out.
That's correct.
There is a significant weirdness.
1 point for Kate.
And there was a. Oh my God! Don't.
No, I'm not gonna. Don't worry. I'm not. We had an active discussion before this episode of like, you don't have game show stuff, right? And I was like, no, I don't. We're not doing it. We're not doing it today.
But
even
there
though it's
is
ready.
Don't you know? There's
Not like this.
There is a specific like era of like, we're gonna try and do 3D stuff now, but we don't really fully have the power to do what we have in our imaginations, / we don't really understand it as well as we probably should just yet. And that, I feel like and people will probably say it's like, oh, well, we're really good at it now. It's like, yeah, we're really good at it now, but even so, like as an industry, we only started getting really good, I'd say probably like 2015, because there were still some like awkward teenage years that the industry needed to kind of get out of it when it comes to 3D in one way or another. We're like on the upswing of a lot of it now, and we're getting to see cool things like Beastars and Land of the Lustrous, where it's like really capitalizing on a lot of this stuff. But
Demon Slayer.
looking at when this came, Demon Slayer, yeah. But taking a look at like when this came out, 2011, I feel like that is like the hot spot for like, well, it's you tried. It looks good, but like, well, it's just
I thought we were gonna have like default animations 1, 2, and 3 for everything, especially because this looks a lot like there's a Wii game that came out in 2009, or maybe even earlier, Unlimited Cruise. 2008, 2009. And these models look familiar. This lighting looks familiar. And I thought we were just going to get some bog standard, like, okay, what came with this version of Unreal Engine? Okay, let's pop this out. But this animation, like even for 2022 standards, is phenomenal. And
every shot is hand keyed. Except I was talking with Molly about this before. The first shot of the old man is a walk cycle where he looks really robotic and strange, and I was like, "Uh-oh!" And then
the first, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Molly.
Go, Molly. Go ahead.
The very first scene of this movie feels like a portfolio piece. Like even the logo, I was saying, like I just finding like things to nitpick about this movie. The one thing I'll say is that the backgrounds are painted, like the sky is painted, and it's not animated. And in that scene when it does the logo, it's very obvious that it's stagnated behind it. And like the logo I really liked, but it was like the fact it felt so stiff, and I was a little worried. And then immediately we fly into an orbit scene, like a bird's eye orbit scene on the Sunny, and I was like, all right, I can fuck with this. Like
they figured it out.
Yeah. But yeah,
the like attempt 1 was the first shot, and then after it was like, oh, type, just every hotkey they suddenly know.
They accidentally left the first draft of that shot in and then like, oh, did anybody change that? No, it's fine.
My first thought was that might have been the last shot of the movie. Like if they had to change something, and they were just like, well, we just need some like some type of like plot device or clarity on who this guy is very quickly, and like just like whatever, like there's no time, like do it live, and like just threw it out there before they could zhuzh it up a little bit. Because again, it was like the logo was really good, but it's like they slapped it on a flat background, right? Like that was probably like somebody separately was working on that logo, and then they put it in that scene. I know everybody at home's wondering, I don't like this grandpa.
I love that Molly was ready to answer that question immediately.
I knew it was on everyone's minds. I knew what everyone was waiting for me to say, but I his design's a little weird, and it gets better like in the last part of the movie. I think they have more fun with him, but again, like this very first scene, like he's so stiff. Like his design is not necessarily very Oda-esque, like versus like the dog. Like I don't know if Oda just did any of the designs for this, but it felt like the dog was a culmination of other dogs we have met in One Piece so far. Like it felt true to Oda. It felt
Very
like
on brand.
It's a
it felt
super
like
dog. It's all good dogs put together to make one even better dog.
One
It's-
Piece,
With
final
a pilot's
dog.
license.
One Piece final dog.
well, it just reminded me of like four other characters, like versus like the something about the old guy and his forehead and his eye.
I
he's, like,
think that these characters were designed specifically with the 3D models in mind, because a lot of the textures and stuff would look better to me in a 3D space than a 2D one, especially with Buzz. Also, I'm looking at the cast list, and Tomomitsu Yamaguchi voiced both Schneider and Buzz, which is amazing. But yeah, I think that these characters like function really well in 3D and have sort of an essence of One Piece, but are like more with the 3D in mind than 2D.
it's just interesting because it's like I'm interested to hear like the separate like lead animator for that guy, because he felt so stiff, whereas like watching the Mugiwara in certain scenes, and like how Al said, they kind of break the model so it feels more fluid to like almost going like panel per panel for the show, like having that the Mugiwara felt more real in this space than the old man, and they were able to kind of like play it up as more of a stiff comedy bit at the end. But it's just like I like his this is gonna sound really weird. I like his legs. Like he has the kind of like from Castle in the Sky parachute pants, like kind of like skinny, or even like Alvita style. And like I think there could have been a lot of really good comedy bits with like making him kind of like, he's got short legs, so like playing up a little bit more, like him stomping around, but
Takes
like
him more steps to get anywhere.
yeah, and like kind of make it like more like Brooks style or something. And like he was just very stiff in every scene, and so it's like I don't know like what the call was there, or if they just didn't have the budget to like. Obviously nobody gives a crap about this guy. He's not like somebody we know. Like, and the dog has more action scenes than the old guy, but
Much like every party that everybody has gone to, the people there are less interesting than the animals that might be there.
Yeah.
Much
Get
like
just
a
any
load of
time I
that
take
dog.
'cause even the Marines are like stiff, but they're stiff in a way that makes sense. Like that's like a character trait, right? Being rigid in the military or the Navy or whatever. Like there's that plays into those characters. Also, it's a lot of fodder characters, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah.
So really quickly about the plot, so that I don't feel like we need to dance around this that much, just because it's a half hour. Yeah, I would love to see this in a 40X theater.
Yeah.
Because there's so much action.
Give us the bullet
and
points, Mark.
The bullet points are we're introduced to this man and his dog. The man's trying to get his dog away because he feel like he's dying. The crew's disbanded. All of that stuff. Long story short, Luffy's hat goes missing, and they try to go find it, and they see this big eagle, and it ends up being a huge chase throughout a bunch of different types of land
a
masses.
straw hat chase, if you will.
A straw hat chase. And eventually it leads to a marine base where the old man gets found by Chopper and taken care of in the medical ward, but we find out that Buzz was sent on this mission by Schneider. It's like, oh, if we had the money for this, turning in this bounty, we could probably turn some stuff around. Let's go steal his hat, whatever. And that sets forward this big thing. But ultimately, that just becomes a vehicle for let's get a whole bunch of amazing sailing scenes, marine fighting, Luffy being Luffy, and just pure fun. This is this is the most diluted experience of One Piece that you can get. And I'm wondering if this is
it's a
diluted
bog
or
standard.
condensed.
Yeah, it's let's take the essence of One Piece and make it like 5 seconds long. Here it is, everybody.
Yeah, this is
It's-
everything.
It's like, do you want to know what the personalities of every character is? Well, here it is. There you are.
It's the simple syrup of One Piece.
Except for Sanji, who really doesn't exist in this entire thing.
Thank
And I'm
God,
just like,
though.
yeah,
He
that's
does-
fine.
He does appear one time in like a throwaway line where they land the ship in the middle of the Marine headquarters dry dock thing, where he only checks on Nami and Robin, and like everybody else looks over like, what?
It's one of those we've recommended it before, right? If you're trying to get your friends into One Piece, like watch this, watch that. I feel like this is a great example of like just trying to give your friends an idea of what this is, who these people are. Like this would be a great thing to show them. It's only 30 minutes. Yeah, it's like the animation's really good.
It's so good.
And
It's got a great ska-based soundtrack.
And then get them stuck watching this for thousands of years.
It's really like Al and I were talking shot for shot earlier in terms of like storyboarding and animation, and I think I would genuinely hate to see this in 3D, but I would love to see this in an IMAX theater just to feel like I'm on the ship, just to feel like I'm with Luffy chasing down the bird, right? Like I feel like there's with a warped screen, I feel like you'd feel more like involved in these scenes. And but 3D though, I think this movie would make me vom. Like I think it'd be like the things I know that there are probably like popping out at you on screen, I think would be the worst possible time for that to happen. Like a lot of like the Sea King of like Luffy going by the Sea Kings, and I can tell like that's closer to the camera, and I feel like that would just be like, I hate this so much. But IMAX, I would love to be like, here we go, like on the Mary falling down, like that would be so scary. It genuinely feels like a virtual roller coaster in some scenes.
Yeah, 100%.
All the POV shots.
Yeah.
Before we get too far away from Mark mentioning ska, the dumb joke I was going to make that I didn't say earlier is, what an escapade. All right, moving on.
No.
Al, you kind of dropped the ball with that one, and I think it's up to the rest of us to pick it up.
All right, Buggy Boys are canceled.
I love that Al stopped this conversation to be like, here was like, that is a very Molly move to be like, I'm going to stop the conversation to say what I want to say and to tell my joke.
Everybody shut up. I've got something stupid to say.
Great tangent to what I want to say. Great tangent to what I want to talk about, which is the joke from 5 minutes ago no one heard.
I mean, I did warn y'all before this started.
It doesn't matter. It's still bad.
Censor all that.
You know what isn't bad? This movie.
That's true.
I got vibes of there's a part where they just a random bunch of glaciers. Like let's do this really tight sort of canyon thing, but it's glaciers instead. It reminded me a lot of Star Tours. When you get lost in the comet and you're trying to bust your way out, and that was when I really started. Well, maybe not then, but I was just like, there was it really early on. This really takes you for a ride, for lack of a better term, and I just feel so disarmed by this whole experience of how much fun I had with it.
It's like that
You mean
scene
like
specifically,
Shanks?
I love it because it is like
Oh my god.
gonna wait.
Sorry.
I have a really good thing to say. I'm just gonna wait. Get your chuckles out now.
Please. Sorry. I very quietly.
Welcome to my world.
Hayden,
I very quietly
you're
ha-ha'd, and then
you are buggy boying it now, and I'm putting my foot down. Putting my foot down. No, I love that scene specifically though, because you get this incredible scale, like sense of scale in that scene. And like I love seeing Luffy on the masthead and just seeing like how big the I mean it's also like, because we play Sea of Thieves, right? Like whoever's driving the galleon, we constantly complain about not being able to see if the sheets are down. And like I can only imagine like how much harder it is to steer that ship when the masthead blocks the majority of like the view. Like I feel like Luffy should have been like calling out like left, right, left, more left, rock, like based on like
right.
how
Instead
we play.
it was Usopp standing right next to Frankie with the exact same view, doing exactly that. It's like Usopp, you can't see anything, and also you're distracting the dude driving the boat.
There was a line there that I had to go back and reread because I misread it the first part. But when Frankie's like, "Yo, stop it! You're ruining my concentration," I thought he had said, "Yo, stop it! You're making this less cool." Like, I had to go back and I'm like, he wouldn't say that, would he? And like, okay. But I saw the seek in concentration, and I read cool for some reason.
You're ruining my vibe, kid.
You're ruining it. You're ruining
my
it.
groove.
We're winning right
You
now, and
threw
you're
off
ruining
the
it.
Emperor's groove.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say in terms of that, like Frankie's a cyborg. He's probably got good eyesight, and Usopp's the sniper. So they probably have arguably the best eyesight of the two. And I'm taking that off of a future quiz. But
I mean, I think we could.
yeah, I think that absolutely makes sense. And Molly talked about the character change from Schneider of like, oh, I'm just an old man to where's my dog? And he just becomes this unglued, absolute psychopath. One of my favorite visual gags was him running up to Frankie, but running past him off screen.
Yeah, he runs up from
kicking
behind
him.
and then away.
It's like, I needed to hop off of the side of the ship just to drop kick you picture perfect in the head and take the ship hostage because I gotta go get my best friend back.
No, my favorite is when they're coming into the Marine headquarters and like I think it's Usopp and Frankie are holding onto that man's legs as he's like holding onto the wheel. And it's like I think it's from like the force of wind, but it's just very like silly.
It's like the story was they've been trying to fight him off of the wheel the entire time, and he's just very busy trying to eat his dog back.
Of the Straw Hats are trying to fight this old man.
I will have to say that like that is probably the biggest like One Piece mood, or I should say the biggest mood that One Piece has given me since say like Nico Robin existing and also Boa Hancock is this old man being just like, I have to go save my dog. And it's like, if that isn't like the most relatable thing, it's like ever. It's just like, how dare you? Like, it's like, you know, you kind of suck. Somebody like saying awful things about you on the internet. It's like, yeah, whatever. Okay. It's like, your dog is ugly. I will fucking kick you so hard that you'll evaporate and teleport into hell. Yeah. And then Satan himself will look at you and be like, you insulted a dog. You deserve to be here.
My childhood dog was a little Chihuahua that I loved very dearly. But we lived in a very lush area, and so like we'd have foxes and coyotes and stuff. So like I related more to this man in 2 seconds than the entire short when he like was like, I gotta get my dog, because I used to stand outside at night with a fucking tennis racket. Like I think if it was like I think I would have that like, you know, like when they say like the baby's trapped under the car, the mother lifts the car off the baby. I feel like I would have that level of adrenaline if anybody went after my dog. Mm-hmm. And I was like, him again, it's like that pose of him like holding onto the wheel and screaming as they're like launching towards his dog is like, it's like, yeah, that makes sense to me. That is relatable. Like
dog parent energy.
Yeah,
How dare you?
Yeah, my baby.
Don't talk to me or my Doge ever again.
Ever again.
Yeah, this short has everything. It's so condensed. There's found family. There's a tragic backstory. There's fun with the crew. There's amazing the fight. The big fight at the end where
it's so good.
Everybody gets a chance to shine. Sweeping 3D tracking shots. And Molly, you were talking about how we get to see like the full follow through.
Yes.
Of a lot of these actions that we have been seeing for years. And my despite all of that, my favorite part of it is Brooke literally doing nothing but running around and laughing like a crazy person.
But like even the way he like jumps off the ship, right? Like it's a casual, like it's almost like the Luigi taunting pose from Melee. Like he lifts 1 foot off and drops from the ship. Like I love that. There's a lot of like really good character stuff in that. But yeah, it's like, I mean, Al can attest to this, like animating, right? When you're trying to figure out how this is going to work, you kind of mimic it yourself. And like a lot of like Luffy's punching and like Oda draws the same poses every time, but I've always wondered what the follow through is completely. And they nail it in this. And the same thing with Zoro, like seeing his like how he sweeps up for like certain attacks that we've seen the whole time. It's a lot of like core strength. Like that's like where the the pivot of like movement is, which I don't know if like necessarily that is confined to like actual like this, if this would actually work gravity style, but it makes sense in the moment, and like I love that.
Like, so here's something, like, as somebody who's I'm going to preface everything as somebody who's not an artist and not an animator and doesn't fucking do storyboards, but just fucking loves cartoons so much and has made it her own personal business to watch as many cartoons as possible and try and ignore live action as much as
Mhm.
possible.
Mhm.
There is so much here that like adds to speed and to like intent and focus, and like the big panning shots. Like, it keeps you focused. There's a lot going on in some of these shots, but it's keeping your eyes generally focused on what the most important thing is. But then going back, you can see there's lots of little details and everything, seeing the follow through and seeing the weight and that like the heaviness of each hit, seeing Gear Third in 3D and seeing like that big hit, and even the call out of just like you went overboard, and seeing like the weight of everything. It all feels like, as a viewer, so this is where it's just like, as a connoisseur, um as a viewer, it feels good. Like, you can feel that same level of weight and direction and intent and hit. And I don't mean hit in the sense of like Luffy punching somebody, but also that. But like the hit on like the beats of every like, purposeful movement and every major step. And it just feels fluid, even though this thing is like 30 minutes of frantic animation, because it really is. It's like, we got to get from A to Z real fast.
And I mean, the times where it actually slows down, they're actually playing with the like regular speed to slow motion. Like in
Yes.
Zoro's entrance alone, his first move is just he like lightning dashes into the middle of the crowd of Marines and creates a tornado of blades, and then it cuts to slow motion as he's just, you see what's happening inside the tornado as he's like one by one taking out Marines, and then it cuts back to normal motion, and then he just flies past the cage Luffy's in, chopping it to pieces.
It's
great.
There's, I mean, I can get like real technical with it, but there's a lot of things.
love if you did.
Okay, well, here we go.
Yeah, no, this is like, everybody has one of my favorite things about us as a crew is we have so many different like points of interest and areas of expertise that I think a lot of people would be really interested in hearing it. But also, me personally, I am very interested in hearing the technical side of all of this stuff. So please.
Okay, sure. Yeah, there's one thing I feel like I look for in a successful 3D animated scene, and I think Al can kind of back me up on this, is I mean, obviously, like a normal human run is different than an anime Naruto run, right? Like, they clear a lot more distance than a
What are you
normal
talking
human
about?
can.
The Area 51 raid proved that was false.
But it's like the issue is that like it's making those runs of distance believable, and a lot of I mean, I don't want to say it's like they used to do it. I still see it in stuff today. Is that like Ruby's an example of it in some things, is that running those distances, if you watch their feet, they're sliding to make up for the speed that they need to cross. They did a really great job in this of not like they did if they were sliding, they hit it so perfectly to create those distances without adding additional poses of like the Flash, where it's like, okay, well, if this is the run cycle and he needs to be here by this point, I mean, it's like his arms are moving, his legs are moving, like, and it's like a lot, and like they're playing a lot more with the FPS than like trying to either make it more realistic or cheating it by sliding. And
well, if they do slide, it's just to stop. It's like they're putting on the brakes there. It's to speed up every step. Like the anticipation and the energy they have to build up for each motion. Like there's this thing that you see in silent films a lot. It's like melodramas. When you're going to do something, you overact, you overextend your arms because you're trying, like in action, you're overpowering up your punch. Like instead of winding back for a normal punch, you're winding up and turning your entire torso and then turning your legs to make the turn even bigger, so that when you swing, it feels like you charged up a whole lot of power. And they're doing that for little basic things like just running. Like,
but
it's great.
It's not even that. It's not even the acting of the characters, right? Like this is a technical thing. Like a lot of Monty's old animations, the Final Fantasy versus Dead or Alive stuff, you could see like when he does a good job of making it feel seamless because he almost always does it for the posings of like getting back up and you take that one step, two step, your arms are flailing forward, you're trying to get the momentum up, and then you're upright and running at that point. But if you watch their feet, they're sliding. And like that is like when I was in school, we were taught not to do that because it's like glaringly obvious. And again, I still see it. Like I think some of the first season of Demon Slayer, when they were kind of figuring out the 3D models that they would use, if you watch his feet, they do it there as well.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of figured it out as they played with it more and more, and it's like less obvious. But I was always thought that was a sign of like sloppy animation, so you needed to hide it, and they did a great job with that.
Yeah, it's like when you're doing combination 2D, 3D, anything, like having communication between your 3D pipeline and your 2D pipeline keeps stuff from breaking like that. Sometimes it's just like growing pains of like a production trying to figure out how to do it, and then sometimes you just land the perfect team and they get it right off the bat, and they had a pretty good team for this one.
I love when you were talking about the posing, Al. I know that you were doing the posing because of how your microphone sounded. Of like, he was actually twisting behind him and and setting, because you have to do those poses in that regard. But whether it's just second nature, I love this thing so much. Like I think the more we talk about it, we're just gonna talk more about how much we absolutely loved it. So like
it's there's not a lot of plot to it, right? So there's not, we can't really nitpick. There's no hottie with the pipes in this one, but it's like everything I like about this movie is all consistent with either shots, like orbit shots, or just like incredible character moments. Like they knew for 2011 they knew the assignment. Like that is crazy to me. This movie is 11 years old. Like that is bonkers to me. Like this holds up. Like I was thinking at least like 2015, like Caden said, like that's when we kind of like were getting a grasp on it. But like so successful, and like for a property that, like, again, I've been reading this since I was 13. Like this was never on my radar. I think there was a promo probably for the video game. Like we were just talking about, these models are probably based off of some other property that they were able to use, but there was a commercial I've seen online a bunch of times where it's like real people in Tokyo and like Luffy is slinging through the city. And
there's stuff at Universal where like or like just stuff in Tokyo where he teams up with Goku to take on Frieza and Buggy, I want to say. But yeah, no, there's a lot of like in world stuff where they've done things where Luffy's in Tokyo as opposed to in the One Piece world, and that's, I was expecting this like quick, oh, it's fine, it's just for the hype of seeing whatever, you know, like, but to come up to be at the end of this and to be like, I'm now very jealous that I didn't go out to see Strong World in theaters so that I could see this on the big screen. This is this is something that I think all One Piece fans should have in their back pocket anytime somebody like poo-poos One Piece, of like, hold on, do you got a half an hour? Blow, you have to watch this now. Yeah. I curse you.
Curse you. No.
They even made the Marine, like they even made the Marine like a mustache twirling asshole.
Yeah.
That's like from early One Piece, of just like, oh, you pirate, does this bother you? And it's like, this, if we're just looking at this captain, this is a pirate with 300 million berry wanted level, and you're just gonna make him mad? Like
the time I placed this was after they saved Robin because she's wearing her leather jacket, and it's just like, yo, he just like This is the man who like just accosted the government, like
Just
the world
declared
government.
war on the world government, and you're like, nice hat, idiot.
Like the guy, the Marine reminded me of the Marine from Arlong Park, who was like kind of mousy, like rat themed, and like same energy. And I'm like, this is a guy from like level 1, like from like so long ago, and we're already at like level 50, and this guy's like, you think you can outwit the Marines? Idiot. And it's like, I think Luffy's just like being nice to you guys right now. Like I think he could absolutely like destroy you in this moment.
Yeah, it was it's 100% that that I don't even know commander's fault that the base was completely destroyed, flooded, the the loss of life, like those giants being totally owned by 10 people.
Yeah.
Like this dude is absolutely going to get court-martialed, if not completely thrown out of the military, and that's fine
if they ever scrape him off of that bridge.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say, does anybody have any final thoughts or things that they want to talk about from Mugiwara Chase?
10 out of 10.
Al
real dog
designed
again.
that dog.
Yeah, Al did design that dog.
I'll design the dog. I love
Al
that
astral
dog.
projected into the
So
designers. It's like,
That is my
I've
favorite
got this.
goddamn dog.
Wizard
Other than my
eyebrows.
own dog. Sorry, Indy.
Indy.
Eye contact. You have to make eye contact with Indy.
Indy knows.
I'm so
Indy
sorry.
knows. Indy knows. It's like, that's a fake dog. I understand.
So I guess that gave me an idea / I have a question. So if Rudy's Revenge is our Mary, does our Thousand Sunny have that dog on as the figurehead instead?
Look at that dog. Look at
That's
that
a good dog.
dog.
Just
Well,
an
you know
old
what it
brown
is?
floppy dog.
You just finally figured out where this dog design came from. I feel like this is Garp's dog's figurehead. Like this is his.
It
this
really
is his,
does
like ship's
feel like
figurehead.
Yeah, it does feel like a Garp dog.
Some combo of
that
a
and some
bulldog, Saint Bernard, and like
It's
Garp.
like that and like a
Yes.
little bit of Skypea design.
Yeah. But then like the hybrid dog eagle almost looks like a completely different
Deagle.
breed.
I
Deagle.
love them. Oh, that's my favorite. Like the griffin design is so cool.
Yeah.
It real like that was like great. Like the 3 very distinct, very different designs for the dog. That's gonna like I don't know why anybody who would not be watching One Piece right now would be listening to this right now. But if you've never seen One Piece, just watch this on the off chance. Like legitimately,
favor.
like just for this dog.
Yeah.
Like
That's cute. Oh my
have you seen
god.
this dog?
We'll
look
post,
at this dog.
We'll post it on our Twitter, but him fucking human smiling at the end. Oh, and
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the thing. Thriller Bark. That was the other one. Thriller Bark is definitely some of that design. With the human
For
teeth
sure.
and the droopy dog. That's like Sanji's zombie design.
and like the stitch scars.
Yeah.
I'm almost sad. I'm almost sad that Thriller Bark was used as an arc because Thriller Bark is a good name for a dog character. Anyway, that's all I have to say about anything today. I'm good.
It's a
Any-
dog with a red leather jacket.
any extended story with a dog is a arc.
Yeah, it's the Inu no Mi good boy version.
Oh,
Good boy.
good boy.
Good boy.
Yeah, this ruled so hard. If you've gotten to the end with all of our enthusiasm and haven't gone back to turn it on yet, do it. Go find it.
Go watch it.
Go
Look at
watch
this
it.
dog.
Look at this dog.
Get a load of that.
Get a load of that dog.
Woo!
Woo!
Anyway,
But before we get out of here, let's take some time to tell everybody where you can be found on social media. Let's start with you, Caden.
Hi, I'm Caden Jensen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, and Twitch at Caden Jensen. That's KDINJENZEN. And you can find me on TikTok, REAL Caden Jensen. That's real Caden Jensen on TikTok. I'm a VTuber on Twitch, so please come follow me. We play games. I play spooky games and Pokemon and all sorts of other stuff. And I play Sea of Thieves and Uno with these lovely crewmates. Lovely crewmates that we did not one of us did not yell at another person during Uno recently.
Yeah, nobody
No
does that.
spoilers.
Nobody does that.
Nobody got yelled at. That's right, everybody.
That's right, Al. Nobody got yelled at.
And my feelings were fine. I mean, somebody's feelings were fine.
Good. It was a very good Buggy Boy like juxtaposition after like the very real. Great job recording, you guys. You, Mark. After the game
Oh
show.
yeah, I guess I was just tagging you back for that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Meanwhile, Simp Squad is over here just being just like, you get a load of these. Well, look at these
Yeah.
assholes.
Get a load of that clown.
dog.
Clown
God.
communication via yelling.
Yeah, the communication broke down.
I love you. I love
Angry-
you too.
I love you.
I just
love
want
you.
I want to get Mark and Al big floppy clown shoes that squeak when you walk, and I want them to do like the whole stompy angry thing at each other, so it's constant squeaking as they're arguing.
the sound effects of like the clown shoes walking away and then a door opening and it's like the Discord door closing.
Yeah,
It's the Adam Driver meme, but they have clown shoes squeaking in it the whole time when he's like slamming on the wall.
Man, we gotta get out of here. Al, what is
Yeah.
your social media?
Yeah, we gotta get out of here.
Sorry, we gotta get out of here.
You can find me basically everywhere and TikTok now at Al McClellan Jr. That's ALNCC.
Yes, follow Al on TikTok. Holy cow.
LLAND. Good luck. And yeah, I did some numbers. I don't know. You should go look at it.
Dude,
He's
Al, I'm
he's
so
the TikTok meme master general.
yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the man, officer.
That's the
Oh
man.
no,
What?
not like this.
Exactly like this.
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at Mark B. Donica. You can also check out our merch store. The easiest way to find it would be to go to tinyurl.com/YYT shop. We just put out a line of BugChamp / Buggy's hats. They're hats that have stitches
Hats
of
on
Buggy's
hats on
hat.
hats.
Yeah, we've got hats on hats, including a mug that is littered with BugChamps with the quote, "I will never forget" from Molly, which is, "Why did I make this?" But that's a way that you can support the show, along with following us on our own Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Yayo Talk Show. How about you, Captain?
It was one of those moments of, has science gone too far? And I had gone too far. I was looking at possibilities and I went too far. You can find me on Twitter at Teflood, TEH. Damn it, every time. TEHFLOOD. And you can find me on Tumblr at Molly Flood, Molly K Flood, depending on what you're looking for. And we have a Yayo Talk Show Tumblr, so come check us out if you want to abandon the bird app.
I abandoned my birds.
Abandon all hope here.
Abandon your bird, but not
That's
but
what
your
this
dog or
movie
your
was
bird
about.
dog. I suppose. Going along with how most movies have ended, now that you've listened to the episode, you've joined our crew. With that comes the responsibility of telling your friends, leaving a comment, following us on Twitter and Twitch at Yayo Talk Show, and letting Caden watch the show in one piece. So come aboard, and we'll see you next time on Yayo Talk Show.
Talking about One Piece.